I have a crucial message for listeners. I know we're all aware of the Cam Best curse, which is every time I watch a game while I'm recording this podcast, like alt tabbing into a game to keep up with it and talk about that game, the opposite of everything I want to happen is happening. So I just want to let everyone in the future know that if the United States loses in the round of 32 to Bosnia, that's my bad.
Or we can talk about how the last 2 weeks in a row you were delayed coming to the podcast due to bugs.
Yeah. I have been spending a lot of time in a hammock recently. And the thing about hammocks is they're awesome. And I live in a place where during the day, it's probably a little bit too hot for bugs to hang out. But at night, right around the time we record the podcast, sun is setting. It's beautiful. It's amazing out there. I go outside and I get absolutely murdered. I have a mark on my hand that I don't even know what it is. I genuinely have never had a bite like that before.
Just do yourself a favor and try doing this.
Oh, you think maybe I'll
just nothing?
No, nothing's coming out, but maybe we got to give it a little more time. I think it took like a day or two for that to kick in, right? It is oddly located exactly where like the web shooter hole would be. Like it is right there at the root of the hand.
DMCA.
That's such a good segue though, because we actually are going to talk about Marvel Snap for this podcast. I swear.
I mean, at some point we end up doing so. That is if you're able to successfully focus and multitask. Because I know, like you said, the game is going on, and
I'm amazing.
I'll be quite impressed because there is a lot to talk about. You know, we have weeks ending, we have new seasons beginning, and then there's Aunt May. So we can
Aunt May. I think that might have been what bit me. Ha ha ha. Because like Aunt. No, nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it was bad, right?
Just let the audience's brain figure out which direction it went first, and as it tries to yo-yo back to this conversation, it'll decide if there was a U in that word or not, because that's just weird either way.
I think it's incredible that, you know, they made a story about Spider-Man, a man made of spiders raised by a family of ants. That's a really inspiring story.
Feels like a Disney movie.
Kind of does, actually.
You remember that? You remember not just Bug's Life, because that was already the Disney movie about
the other
ants.
one, the one Ants with a Z.
Ants.
Yes.
It's like, let's take the horrid side of those ants and combine them with the Disney ants, and then throw in Aunt May, and then throw in Ant-Man, and it's just ants squared, cubed, quadruple. I don't know. What is it to the fourth?
Yeah.
Whatever that is. It's a lot of ants.
There are many ants.
And
large
not enough
volumes
uncles
of ants
because they're dead.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, yes.
Yes.
Unfortunate, but true.
Very sad, but true. But either way, before diving too heavy into the world of ants, I did want to just get a quick recap on Beach Bash by simply saying I kind of felt like the whole season, minus the first week, was just kind of like it just felt very underwhelming.
I think as creators, typically the way we look at seasons is underwhelming usually means just didn't necessarily see metagame play. And I think if you hold that standard up, it does apply to that season. Because I think if you look at like the best cards in the season, Jeff and Venus are closer to like B+ cards than they are A cards, I think.
Yeah, that's fair. I think
the highest you can grade Venus is like A-.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think A- is a good standpoint, especially depending on the rank you're in. It'll, fluctuate from B+ to A. So yeah, I think that's fair. But I also, I don't know. It doesn't have to be a meta relevant card in the sense of like it's in one of the top 3 decks for a card to feel like, yeah, this was a great season. I mean it more in the sense of even in the archetypes in which any of those cards wanted to thrive, either it was such a unnecessary build around that it just isn't worth it to even compete with Destroy as your baseline entry of, can this beat Destroy? Am I trying way too hard to beat Destroy? Yes. And does it beat it? It's a 50-50. That means no, it's just not worth it for that amount of stress. Versus, sure, if it makes the top 3 decks, great, awesome, big success, woohoo.
Speaking of big success, the United States just scored. Continue.
Yay. All right. I was like, Namorita, like, is that really the best of the Series 5s?
I think it's Mr. Ocean Wide. And also my podcast curse continues because I said the United States just scored, but now it's offside. So the podcast curse has once again struck immediately.
Turn the game off.
Don't you root for Brazil? Come on, man. You gotta give me this. But yeah, I think it's actually Mr. Ocean Wide. Really? Namorita is like exactly fine. Mr. Ocean Wide is like, that's actually a card that goes in the deck that it wants to go in, which is to say it's worse Clea, but it's fine that it's worse Clea. And it's like actually a card that goes in that deck. And I've frankly seen a little bit more of that deck recently. New Spider-Man definitely goes in that deck. I don't think it's the world's greatest deck, but in terms of the destroy scale, right? I do think it's above that. And I do think that like Mr. Ocean Wide is pretty good in it. And I think there's like 2 kinds of mid is how I've phrased it in the past, where Mr. Ocean Wide is good mid. He has a role. Mm-hmm. He's not perfect, but like the apex version of Mr. Ocean Wide is like Stick, where it only really works in one deck, but it's really damn good when you do it. And you need it because it's the only card that does what it does, even if it's the second and worst version of that effect. And Namorita's bad mid, where it's like she's just there for value. And if you're going to play a value 3/5, there's like 4 other options. And I think that means that it's like, and I guess which one you think is good and which one you think is bad can depend on a lot of different things. But my expectation is that I think there's a lot more appeal in good mid than bad mid. And I think that there's a lot more reason to buy a card when it is good mid and as compared to bad mid, because good mid, at the very least, it's not replaceable. There's not a good replacement for Mr. Ocean Wide if you're going to play a Clea deck because you really need that second copy. There's 8 billion good replacements for Namorita in 100% of decks that play her. Even if she's fine. Yeah. Even if she's a better card statistically.
Mm-hmm. I think part of the reason that feeling exists with this is also because I look at probably besides week 1, what cards are going to get play. And I think it's just the cards that came out in the first week. I think that's it. I
agree with you. I don't think it's like an incorrect statement. I do think it's like a little unfair though, because it's like, besides week 1, that's half the cards in the season. Like it sounds like a very small amount of cards, but it's actually half the cards in the season.
I should specify by saying that it's the season pass and the super premium season pass card. It's specifically Jeff and Venus. So a third of the cards that came out the entire season, technically, but it's like, for lack of a better term, you blew your load in the first day. Okay.
Yeah, but isn't like, I guess that's my thing. Is that not intentional? Like, what do you believe their optimal
there was no
setup
Gambit
for a season is? Sure, there's no Gambit
Horseman. There was no Mother Ascani. There was no like other card at some point that made me go, okay, between the season pass and this card came out, this season was really good and presented a good variety in the meta. And I was like, Venus did that and Jeff did that.
I agree. I'm not disagreeing with the premise. What I'm saying is put your game designer hat on for a second, okay? Turn those glasses upside down. Put that game designer hat on. The
glasses upside down are community problems. No, if we it needs something.
I thought the glasses upside down was like when you were pretending to be me. And so
I don't have enough hair.
That's
to do
where
that.
I was going with that. Okay, sure. I mean,
Here,
I can shave.
I'll go
we'll
like
see.
this for Dev.
That works great. So my instinct is that if they could pick 2 cards to succeed out of every season, they would pick the season pass and the super premium season pass. Game designer hat on, game designer shades on. For the record, in my head, I think game designer shades are like 2010 stunner shades. That's what I'm envisioning right now. But when you put those shades on, do you disagree with that premise? Do you think that they would rather put power into a Series 5 than the season pass or are you just like, I have those, surely? Is that what's happening right now? Sure. All right, those are the game designer shades. That's canon. Whenever I ask you to get in a game designer mindset, you put those on. So, game designer shades on. You can pick 2 cards out of any season to be good enough to see metagame play. Which 2 do you pick, position-wise? You muted yourself, flailing around.
Super premium season pass and week 3.
Interesting. So first of all, walk me through why you would take the super premium season pass over the season pass. Is the implication just it's strong, so they'll buy both?
If that card is strong enough to convert 25% of the season pass buyers into super premium season passes, it's a financial success. Okay. If it is strong enough that it causes people to use their tokens, that means that on any given week, even if they're collection complete and they only buy the $10 version of the season pass, they still have to have a 50% chance to get the card that they wanted. Chances are 50% that they may end up needing to have 12,000 to do that. It's more resource expenditure. So from a financial standpoint, I look at it as more of a financial success to do that. Later on in the season, rather than have it be, because the season pass has already proven its value, not because of the card, but because of the resources. So I don't look at the season pass as needing to be one of the strongest cards of the season. I'm looking at it from the perspective of what's going to help the business the most. And the one that's going to help the business the most is that.
I think that's interesting. My instinct is that the season pass doesn't stand on its own for most people the way that it does for engaged players. But I'm compelled by that. And then week 3, you're saying just break up the boredom, as is your contention that OTAs are not sufficient for this?
Correct. I do think so, because when there's new engaging content, it is different than altered content. So when you have a new toy to play with, that's different than driving the same car with another coat of paint on it. Or I believe so now it's a different color.
That one makes sense to me, especially because a lot of what people ask for from OTAs is fundamentally new toys. Like a lot of the reasons people are disappointed by like +1, -1 is because it's not giving them new toys. And that's reasonable. That's like a super valid thing to want from a game that changes as much as Marvel Snap. And I think that maybe it's not something they plan on delivering in OTAs. They don't seem too pressed about it. I'll say that much. But I think that you're right that people want new toys as much as they possibly can. Here's my second question. How much of a risk are you willing to run on power creep? How many Star-Lords are acceptable? How many Show-Lows are acceptable? To what degree do you view that as damaging to the game? I don't see a ton of comments like this, but I know that some people certainly express the sentiment of like, don't buy this season pass. They're going to rob you as soon as they nerf it, right? And to what degree do you consider that damaging for the game? To what degree do you consider it risky, specifically in the context of super premium season pass, which is the extra one? You know what I mean? So I don't think we're going to get anywhere debating, like, because we don't have access to the economics of the company, right?
Of course.
Our beliefs about whether or not the season pass needs to stand on its own, I don't think we're getting anywhere with that. But to what degree do you think they should be willing to push super premium season passes more?
Your best friend in the world has regularly said that it's better to miss high than to miss low.
Oh, Glenn?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that.
And I think that for the card that has that much value behind it, if there's a card to do that with, to validate that sensation of that purchase, that is the card to do it. Because it's not about the art of the rug pull. It's more about the art of...
Podcast name.
No, it's more about the art of legitimate balance and understanding listen,
but like podcast name. That's the name of the show. We're gonna name this podcast "The Art of the Rug Pull."
Great. Podcast. The art.
We're calling it.
You should know the drill by now. You got to write it down. I can't move. I'm specifically keeping my head in one angle so that the corner of these specialty square sunglasses, which I will now willingly pan, you can see the reflection of the monitor, so you can see me.
What's going on
through
there?
them.
What is are those Periscope sunglasses?
No, these are just weird ones that I got from SnapCon 1.
Fascinating.
Like these are
what
the
is
originals.
Their utility?
It's hard to tell in these, but it's black and then clear. So it's just it's supposed to look like it's looking off to the side, like. So it's more reflective only on the one side. So it looks like I'm constantly looking. Yeah,
gotcha,
right.
Gotcha.
But which is why I haven't been moving my head much as I keep this this character of Dev on, because I just don't want to have to see myself
these are the Dev glasses
again in there and like that. You know, anyway. So Dev glass perspective then. I always would rather miss high in the super premium season pass if I'm responsible for this department, which I'm not, thankfully, based on what probably many people will say in the chat, because they're going to be like, this is fucking awful. Thank God you don't work there and you deal with pretty pictures and posts on X. Good job. So I guess my perspective of it is you always have to justify resource, right? You have to find a way. It's not just rhythm. The most rhythmic thing in the game from a resource standpoint is the season pass. It's not the series 5 releases. It's the season pass, because I'm looking at it going, there is a percentage of people every month that will always get it for the resources. Some get it for the card and some get it for both. And some are curious about it based on the specific character or the specific effect, etc. There's always that versus a series 5 or a series 4 release, which is, this is the effect. Do you like it or not? Use these tokens if you have them.
Personally, I think you're taking that player base for granted by expecting them to always do it. I think that the amount of people that always do it is I personally think that the amount of people that always buy the season pass is actually dramatically lower than.
Not compared. Let me articulate carefully then. I'm not talking about in the entire player base. I'm talking about if you look at it month on month, right? The amount of people that are getting the season pass over the course of a given month, I would not be surprised if more than half of them have gotten it the last 6 months also. You know what I mean?
I think that is entirely possible, but I also think that statement is contingent on the cards being designed such that they are attractive. I don't.
That's where we disagree.
Like it fundamentally is that I think that the season pass is the single most important unit of business that Marvel Snap does. That is what I think.
Probably. Yeah.
It is not something they can take for granted. It is something they have to show love to. And it is not just their mechanism for converting people into spending money on the game, but for getting invested in the synergies that seasons are based around. And I think that it could be problematic for design that it has that outsized importance. But I think that it does just sort of serve as the axis for seasons a lot of the time. And go ahead.
No, I was going to say that I think some of the time you're right. And I know we've talked about this previously, so I don't want to loop it too much, but I think there are some seasons and season passes that are designed for current player bases versus some season passes and seasons that are designed for new users or for getting new play or getting active or intermittent players to interact with the game through the season pass once again for the first time in months or ever, right? I look at a season like this season, and this is a huge season for that. It's Spider-Man. It is a spider season. It is one of the most successful aspects of the name Marvel. Of course, it makes total sense to have it be Spider-Man Brand New Day as the season pass.
Yeah, can I just 100%. Say, really bold design decision to make this guy a one-cost card. Those are not splashy. You know what I mean? Like, that's a really... Whoa. It was kind of my reaction to that. I was like, that is a brave call. Like, I think that, like, if marketing ran the design team, which we do not, and if they did, it wouldn't be me, I'd be like, make a 6-cost Spider-Man, dude. Make a 5-cost Spider-Man. Make a big Spider-Man who makes the game all about him. You know, like, that's like in my head where I'm like, you know, big shot cigar smoking like J. Jonah Jameson. I need a 5-cost picture of Spider-Man, right? Like, that's what I'm trying to do here, right? Like, I think it got a little bit kingpinny, but I hear you. Like, I need a star, and you gave me a role player. You know, like that's a bold decision.
And that's exactly where I look at it and go, that is a perfect example of this is a season pass with a recognizable character that is meant for new users. It is about getting new people to the game for the very first time, because whether you are collection level 10 or 100,000, this can go in a deck immediately. Go ahead and get it. It's a recognizable character. It's going to be great.
This is a swear warning. Okay. That motherfucker is good. That guy is good, dude. Like, I thought when he came out, it was like, okay, well, maybe in decks that only care about stats like Nightcrawler tempo stuff, you'll still play Nightcrawler because, like, Super Giant face down on 5, face down on 6, he doesn't really have as much. And it's like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not playing the guy that moves twice. Like, I thought maybe we'd get a little bit of life out of Nightcrawler still, but now it's just like, no. I am playing Nightcrawler and winning. I'm playing Spider-Man Brand New Day in my deck, and I am winning the Wilson Fisk battle because of it. Like, my 2-drop has one more point of power. My Wilson Fisk comes down. Like that, even there, he's doing stuff. And that was like, in my head, I was like, if he's replacing him in Nightcrawler, that's like the bellwether. If he's replacing Nightcrawler in Supergiant, that's the bellwether. He's just better Nightcrawler at everything now. And Nightcrawler is like a good ass card. That is like a 52% win rate card. Like, just a good card in Marvel Snap. And this guy is just like, wow, I'm better than Nightcrawler at everything. I'm Wall Crawler. Get at me. And that is what it is. That is what it has felt like.
It would not. It is. To me, from a experience of Marvel Snap over the years standpoint, it would not surprise me in any way, shape, or form if we got to August at some point and he became a 1/1 because he is that good. It would not surprise me in any way.
I think that might kill him because the margins on one costs are so. The margins on one costs are so bad, right? I think it might. Like, I really think that, like, the margins on, like, you saw Nightcrawler go from a 1/2 to a 1/3, goes from a bad card to a good card instantly. The margins on one costs are really minimal. And so I do think that if they 1/1'd him, I think let me put it this way. I think he is closer to balanced right now than he would be at 1/1. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Like, I think the right number is 1.75 or whatever, right? Like, that's, I think it's closer to 2 than it is to 1. And at 1, you'd probably just be bad.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I don't know.
Like
you
I said,
about missing high.
One
costs are a really good place to see, like, missing high happen, I think. Because it's always going to be, like, by one number.
Yeah. He's just a generically really good card. I think he goes into anything and everything, more or less. I mean, that's the easiest way to say it. He's not perfect in every deck, but he's always a good option. He's like Nico.
He's like honestly a little bit like old Jeff was. Remember back in the day, it was just like, I need a 2/4.
Yeah.
I need a 2/4. Here's a 2. Here, I need a 2/3. I need just a 2-cost card. I'm gonna put it in here.
Jeff.
He's a little like that. It's just that like I do think that Marvel Snap is a bit of a different game. Like we don't have. There are so many good cards at so many different costs now that tie in just a little bit to what you're doing.
Yeah.
That I think that it's not necessarily like I don't think we can ever have what old Jeff was again. But if you're playing Move, you're playing this guy. If you're playing anything with buffs, you're playing this guy. And I mean anything with buffs. If Venus is in your deck, you're playing this guy. If you're playing Zombie Galacti, there's a decent chance you're playing this guy.
I saw it.
You get to move him around. Yeah, like if you are playing the Captain Carter buff deck, good lord, you are playing this guy. If you are playing, like he's in a bunch of stuff. It is less than every deck, and I think people remember Jeff maybe a little bit wrongly as being in every deck, which wasn't necessarily true, but I could see how it felt like that.
He was pushing 40% play rate. I remember those days.
Dude, the highest play rates I've ever seen were Iron Patriot and Sam Wilson, which were both actually at 50%. Like no joke, no bullshit, actual 50% play rate and like top 50% infinite. Just like every game basically. Like it was monstrous. I've never seen play rates higher than that, and those are still the ones I remember. I think Sam actually got up to like above 50 for a little bit there. Like the dude was like at like 56 or something like that. It was something absolutely horrendous. Crazy. Sam is an absolute war criminal for that.
I agree. He was ridiculous.
Yes. And I think there's not going to be a world, because we live in such a different world to January 2024 or January and February of 2025 in terms of what Marvel Snap is. We're never going to have another Sam Wilson. We're never going to have another Iron Patriot. It's just not going to be like that because those cards exist. Those were like the first ever good cards they made functionally, but they make a lot of good cards. And that's what it felt like. It was like, oh man, Marvel Snap finally made a card that's good. A 2-drop that's actually good. We can play a 2-drop and it's good. And now there's not really like, there's not exactly a cost in Marvel Snap that's like, we have no playables, you know, because those cards exist. There will never be as big of a delta because it's way harder to make a 2-drop that's that much better than Iron Patriot was to every other 2-drop when it came out. And I think that's true across everything. So we'll never probably see another Jeff again, another Iron Patriot again, another Sam Wilson again. We probably won't ever see it unless they do something absolutely horrendous, right? But this is pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is as close as I think we ever get, which is not to say that he's even that egregious. Just like, I think this is what it looks like when you do something like that now.
I think for season passes specifically, I agree with you. I am too scarred on experience to say there is going to be another release someday that comes on out and the community finds the Witch's Brew combo that wasn't found in playtesting, and now it's just broken.
I'm willing to believe in Star-Lords, you know? But just like a card that you play for its stats being that much better than everything else, I'm not willing to believe in that anymore. I'm willing to believe in Star-Lords and Showlaos and Mavericks and shit like that.
Yeah.
I don't think I believe in approaching 60% play rate 2-drop that's just a rate guy. Like, I don't think I believe in that anymore. I don't think we're getting there. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to get there. I'd honestly be a little surprised if he hit 40. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't think we live in a world where any of that's possible anymore.
I think it's tough, obviously, because it's the beginning of the season, so everybody's playing it ridiculously, and then there's weekend missions. We won't really know until we get to the end of August. He was at 40, 2 weeks in. Let me put it that way. I'd be pretty shocked. I would be shocked too.
You wouldn't be?
I could see it. Okay. I had to think about it. I'm like, I could easily see him at 25 to 30% play rate.
Sure.
Seems about right, because he is incredibly flexible, and I think it's interesting to also take a card like this that has so much move synergy built within it, and other cards that want it to move, and the push and pull of power here, kind of like how we used to talk about and still talk about Batroc, right? Where it is just a ridiculous 1-drop that enables a bunch of different stuff. In those decks, this is like Batroc Light.
I think it's here's what I'll say. I think it's meaningfully different. Batroc is payoff. This is enabler.
Yeah.
And that is the difference I would like to draw here. This is Sam Wilson
That's
light.
a good
It's
assessment.
not Batroc light, it's Sam Wilson light. And it's powerful, but like I also think there's some emphasis on light here. Like Sam Wilson light maybe.
Light,
you know? Like
Spidey.
this is the when we're talking night, we're talking light here, we're talking like natty light. You know what I mean? Like, this is not like your average light beer. This is a light beer.
You know, like this is
yeah, this is whiter.
We
claw.
play card games for a living. Claw.
It's
this is a different level. Yeah, it's somewhere around there.
Yeah. Yeah. The light shines through me when I go to the beach like a prism. You can see the colors refracting off me. Claw. I stole that joke from Bill Hicks. Claw.
They used
also
me as a reference
white boy coded
for when they were making the Elgato lights and the ring lights, because they're like, this is how it needs to diffuse bright light outward.
Dude, my camera, I'm significantly tanner than I was 3 months ago. My camera, I know, because my camera white filters me. Like, no joke. It like I if I turn the light on, I can
that's
see
just because
myself
you're on camera talking about cards
in the camera.
You're becoming whiter automatically.
Right, of course.
I will, at the end of this podcast,
right.
I will help you with your color filtering.
Yeah, good point.
And turn it up more so you can be matching your shirt.
I'm very comfortable in my own skin. You turn it up more so I can, yes.
KM the friendly ghost. Yes.
Just going for it, man. KM the unfriendly ghost. I don't know if I'd give myself friendly. Can I complain about something? What the hell is up with these, like, it's 50? A Series 5 pack for $60 bundles? What are they? Okay, what are they doing? Like, I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's gone.
I don't know why that is.
It's gone.
Was it
now?
a bug?
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
I just want to know what the hell happened. Yeah, it's gone now because it was only for the weekend. But like, why was it there? Dude, did anyone
it was on purpose.
buy it?
It was legitimate.
Was it on purpose? Yeah. What happened? Was it on purpose? I have no idea. Like, it's one of those things where I saw
it looked like a bug because in certain layouts, the little snap pack image was like
they would do it.
It's a itty bitty snap pack, so it's so tiny. You know, they've made those mistakes before.
I'm sorry, I didn't know you had that voice in your repertoire. We're gonna go for that one a little bit more. That you can do the man trapped in your mouth gag, can't you? Oh my God.
No, I actually do that on stream quite often because I'll have a full negotiation with myself and decide if I move, but the Nightcrawler right now, it's going to free open that spot. Yes. So then if I leave that over there and then do that instead.
I'm about to date myself.
Go. I'm leaving the broadcast if that's what you're going to do.
No.
I'm so glad
you won't be able to
white.
see it. It's too white. You won't be able to discern anything. Don't worry about it. I am almost never either awake or functional when you stream. And now for the punchline, please tell the viewers when you stream.
In the morning. So I typically stream
hours so they understand what a bum I am.
I'm using this in Eastern time, 1 to about 10 on Tuesdays, and then on Wednesdays from about 8 a.m. to around 3 or 4, roughly.
Yeah, those are the ones that it's just like,
yeah, no, I know.
Oh man, guess
I used to stream a lot more mornings. I miss it to a degree because it was regular and consistent.
Yes, yeah. I miss Ordinary Harry too. I've gotten to watch a couple Ordinary Harry streams over the last like couple days because I've had some real trouble sleeping, and he streams at 6 a.m. And so it's just like that's the only time you'll ever catch me in a Harry stream, not because of him, just a fact, is when I am absolutely fucked on sleep. Like if you see me in a Harry stream the next day, just be like, "Hey KM, how was your sleep?"
Yeah.
You're like, bad. I'll tell you bad. You don't even need to ask.
I remember one time,
really
I want to say it was within the last 6 months, you had done your climb and it was an absolute shit climb. It took you all night long and you raided into me and I was fucking floored.
Right,
I was like, why are you still awake, functioning in some capacity? I'm not saying successfully or not, but you were doing things and walking and breathing.
Well, yeah.
I was like, what the hell is going on? Because we have our schedules are completely different when it comes to broadcasts. I stream and you just straight up fucking don't. So because of that, we are very different.
That's not true. I stream. I just turned my VODs off.
You forget all the time. Okay.
I remember to stream. Well, it is weird what my relationship with streaming is, because I do feel like I want to, like, I love doing content. It's amazing. It's great. But I worry that at some point, if it starts interfering with my other work, which it could, who knows? And like, I'm in like the second week of it. And it's like, I don't know which one I would want to prioritize. I'm sure the obvious answer is I would never prioritize anything. It's all going to be fine. Right. And maybe it will be, but I just hope I don't ever have to get to the point where I make that decision.
I can say from experience, it is something where over the course of the last year, between Game On events and the Golden Gauntlet stuff, and then eventually my other job in the world of AI, and then now the Second Dinner marketing, I have slowly added on different pieces of work into my life. And as I added on certain things, the first thing every single time that needed to be cut was streaming hours. And it hurts and it sucks very much so, because I love streaming. It is so much fun. But being completely bluntly honest about it, it is the least dollars per hour I make in any of my jobs. It is the most fun thing I do, but it is the one that supports my family the least. So I have to create different balances. And that's why I started really diving into YouTube a little bit differently and shorts a little bit differently for exposure, and just like, I could do this, I could do this, I could put this over here, I could have this happen like this, I could do this, I could still do the podcast. Why? Because it's a single take, very little edit, and then just leave it alone. Like, it's that kind of stuff.
That's my whole content philosophy, baby. No editing, because I don't know how to do it, and I can't afford someone who can.
It works out wonderfully to have to cut streaming hours. But I do miss it. I do miss streaming. Like I used to do Monday through Thursday.
Yep.
Basically the equivalent of 9 a.m. Eastern time was basically my start time. And I did that for quite a long time. And I loved being another morning guy. It was just leave me on in the background while you're at work and lurk and hang out and watch a little snap on your break. And sure, we have a sax party every now and then and call it a day, like, woohoo. That's what it is.
In October 2022, when Snap came out, November 2022, which is the first full month,
I believe that,
I streamed every single day after work. I had a job and I came home and I streamed every single day after work and on the weekends.
Yeah. Motivation.
How did I do that? I contemplate doing that now. I don't know how it happened. It doesn't make sense. And I'm amazed and impressed with myself. And like, Lord knows, I don't know how much of my presence I owe to that month and the work I put in that month, but I'd be surprised if it wasn't a significant amount, right? And I didn't know that's what I was doing at the time.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, I'm going to play more Marvel Snap. Let's go. And I think we all kind of had that feeling when Marvel Snap first came out. Was like,
this
holy
is cool.
Shit, this is amazing, right? Like, this is unbelievable. And yeah, it's one of those things. Like, this podcast was originally, if I'm not mistaken,
STG,
Valentine, and
Loot Muncher and Valentine, correct?
Way back in the day. Yeah. And fun fact, Loot Muncher, Val, myself, several others used to do these events called Q brushes.
Hyper Q
now
brush.
Marvel Snap is doing an event called a Q brush. Where's our royalties, buddy? Pay up. Pay up. Pay up. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, first of all, shout out Loot Muncher, shout out Valentine. Valentine, I hope your mustache is still as glorious as it was when you left. But like, there were a lot of people back in the early days, like people like Wire Cam and Alex Coach is so chill. It's because we hung out in each other's streams when we each had 10 viewers. We were playing Marvel Snap in the beta, right? There's a bunch of us back then, and not a lot of us are still around. But like, Talkwin. Remember Talkwin? He was like the biggest Marvel Snap streamer.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Darrow was around. And Mr. Metal. Remember Mr. Metal? There were so many people who were like, and then it feels like the game came out and things just went crazy.
It wasn't Educated Collins
Ordinary
also
Harry
at the time?
Around. Ordinary Harry was around.
Did he? I thought he was beta.
Collins came in after the beta, but was very early too. Yes. I think he came in after the beta. I'm pretty sure. Collins is my guy though. I need to talk to him about like a thing where he teaches me how to be good at auto battlers because he's a goddamn genius. Like that's something where it's like I just like spin up a second channel just to be like, it's KM learns about auto battlers or whatever, because that he's like, every time I talk to anyone about like a limited format or an auto battler, it's all so totally inscrutable to me, but they can all see like it's actually it's like super easy once you see the lines, right? And to me, it's like this wide canvas to paint on. And to them, it's like
strategic.
Nope, this. And I think that that's really instructive because whenever I watch people who are bad at Marvel Snap, they think of it as this wide canvas to paint on. And I'm looking at them like, why are you even considering these options? What are you doing? Like, these are not realistic things you should be thinking. Just go do the obvious thing. And I think that like, it would be interesting to watch me in a situation where I don't have that knowledge to see if I can like get there, because unfortunately I think card games are pretty replaceable and I'd probably be good at card games generally. Like, I think card games are like there's probably not as much for me to learn there, but something like an auto battler where the mechanics are just like fundamentally different, but some of the same skills are on display. Yeah, like that kind of stuff is like, there might be something there. Like, I've been good at Magik before. I've been good at Hearthstone before. I've been good at Runeterra before. I'm not saying like it's impossible for me to be bad at a card game. I'm saying there's probably a little bit less that will be relevant to a normal person because I'm shortcutting a lot of the language and jargon, which I'm not shortcutting in a situation like this.
I have no clean way to do this, so I'm just going to say. So Mary Jane also happened to come out. Remember, this was a Marvel Snap podcast. I'll loop us back in here. Every second of it. Mary Jane comes down as a 3/3 end of turn. Give each of your cards that move to this turn +1 power. Probably out of the three, the most intriguing, because it is the card you probably want to build around the most, because if you are building out this card, a deck with this card in it, you're really trying to maximize it, whether it's via the end of turn mechanic, whether it's the excess amount of moves. And then you have this really tough decision of, okay, which direction do I need to go? Am I looking at Venus? Am I looking at Invisible Woman First Steps? Am I looking at Hydra Stomper comparisons and parallels? Like, it is a really intriguing card to mess around with. And no matter how hard you try, she rocks the pose a lot better than you do.
Yeah, can we just say, like, she's incredibly flexible. That's kind of like, I can't even get my knee into that position. It's maybe she's shorter. I don't know, but like, I cannot get my my face anywhere near what she's doing there. I can't even come close. It's insane. And she's doing that in like work pants. I'm wearing a t-shirt and like fleece shorts. I should be able to do this. Nowhere near. She's wearing selvage denim.
Yeah. What I want to know out of this variant is,
that's crazy.
The artist, Anand Ramcharan, which I'm probably butchering, Anand, I shouldn't, but
well, that's bad.
I wonder if they reached out to Rian Gonzalez and said, hey, I want to do a little mini Spider-Man exactly like you do.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the mini Spider-Man!
Did you literally never notice that until right now? Oh yeah, it's a
I didn't notice it on this variant.
Inspired little like.
It's
he's a little statue on the desk that is frame breaking, so it's like hanging off of the desk now. But like, see what I mean?
Yeah. Can I just say there is one aspect, one detail on this that I absolutely adore. Her shoes are like ox blood, so they kind of are red in the right lighting. And it's honestly a very good choice. Like when you look at like, it just gets to the middle. So she's wearing like, that is one of the cooler little animated details that I've seen on something like this. I was like, that's nice. That's really nice.
Little details like that. Just like if you look in the variant as well and look really carefully in the frame in the background, it's Spider-Man also.
Mm-hmm.
Little things. Cool variant.
That's great. So as a card, I haven't done my Mary Jane video yet. As a card, she strikes me as a little. You know how Venus was like, I made the Rock comparison where it's like franchise Viagra, just goes in a bunch of stuff, makes it all better, instantly becomes a box office sensation kind of deal. Mary Jane is like Vin Diesel, where you think that he and the Rock are the same because they're both bald, jacked men. You're like, those are the same kind of thing. But Vin Diesel only really does Fast and Furious. Unless there's a bunch of Chronicles of Riddick heads out there, which, I mean, God bless you. Vin Diesel's the Fast and Furious guy. And I sort of think that that's the same thing going on with MJ and Venus, where Venus came out, she went in a bunch of stuff that wasn't particularly good and made it a lot better. MJ comes out and is in a much more specific role, and I think it is a disservice to Venus to compare them. Because I think that a lot of people are going to compare. It's like, oh, it's a 3/3 that gives things +1 power. Like, it is a disservice to Venus.
100% agree. I mean, I don't think you can one-to-one them. Because this is a more niche version of what Venus does, right? This is a...
Yes. What if Venus only went in one deck?
Yeah.
Yes, like that is the pretty much my evaluation as far as it goes, where it's like, I think I was wrong about Venus. I also think some things changed between the time that I mentioned it. And like, I don't think I was wrong about a lot of the specifics. I was right. You know, like Venus MJ Surfer or Venus Jeff Surfer is worse than the Storm Surfer. And that does matter. And frankly, it was like the big reason why I think Jeff landed as a disappointment thing. But Venus did a lot of work that I didn't anticipate. There's this conversation that happens every so often is like, if you rated Star-Lord an 8, were you wrong and by how much? And my contention is always, if you rated Star-Lord an 8 out of 10, like I did, you were dead wrong. In all the ways that mattered, you were dead wrong. I don't care that it was high. That card was insane, right? And so if you rated it an 8, it was actually a 15. You were off by 7. You might as well have rated it a 1. Like there's just no, like you were dead wrong, even if numerically it was close, right? the point isn't to be numerically close. The point is to convey the information accurately. And so in the spirit of that, I think I said Venus was a pretty good card, and I think she is a pretty good card. But in the spirit of that, I was wrong. I was wrong about the amount of medium decks that Venus would make good. I was wrong about that. I didn't see it coming. And it was not something I factored into my calculations. And the fact that I got the right answer, or a right enough answer, 3.5, 4-star card, accidentally, doesn't make me right in retrospect. I was wrong about something meaningful about Venus. And I think that what I was wrong about was the breadth of her applicability. And it's unfortunate for MJ because I don't think she has
you ever go to the arcade?
The breadth of any applicability.
Ever in your life? Like any kind of arcade? Yeah. Not this past weekend,
yes,
but like
in
just
my life,
ever.
yes. Like the way you're asking it, it kind of makes sense. Like, are you like Barney Stinson? You go to play laser tag and just beat kids up at laser tag? Is that like your hobby? Like that's what it feels like you're asking. It's like, no, that's not my hobby. It's my job. Okay, I do that professionally. Yeah. They call me the exterminator.
Like you've been to an arcade in your life.
I don't want to put it on the level of a hobby.
So, there's always Super Shot at those, which is basically those little basketball games. And it's, the little bar comes up, it shoots down 3 or 4 basketballs, and you got to get as many of them in as possible. And it's in this little dome cage always. So that way the basketballs can't go into like a billion different directions, right? You're playing that game, you take the basketball and you shoot at the basket. The goal is to get it directly into the basket. But every now and then you have a really bad shot and it hits the edge of the rim, bounces off, ricochets off the side wall, and then ends up in the net. You still got to that point. You still got the 2 points. It wasn't the way you were planning. It was a complete accident, but that's what happened. That's your rating of Venus.
Right. My contention is that I shouldn't get the 2 points. Like, if at some point in the future when I do KM Best Reviews, because I love to rip off Trump SC.
Trump SC.
Shout out to Trump, by the way. I don't know how many people know this. My name used to be Kanye Best, which I changed for obvious reasons. One of which being, I'm Jewish and he probably hates me. But one of the things that happened was Trump was a player who played Snap in the beta. And I was, apropos of absolutely nothing, I was streaming after making the name change, which was in 2022, I want to say. And he goes into my chat and he types, "Lol, it happened to you." And I just want to say that might be the only person out there who understands exactly what it is to have your name be the name of a deeply problematic person. The only person alive. Unbelievable. It was unbelievable, man. I treasured story. It's I don't know. It's not something I'm proud of. I was a fan of his music. I was not a fan of his politics. Seems pretty straightforward. Luckily, he made it really easy by making a bunch of bad music afterwards too.
I'm just glad I'm not a sneakerhead.
Fan of him at all.
So Mary Jane is I can't put it on the same shelf as Venus, but it's trying to fulfill the same. It's easy to make those parallels because it's a 3/3. It's giving +1s. It's a super premium pass card in back-to-back seasons, and it complements the season pass directly. It is like,
and it has red hair.
Reddish, yeah, close enough. Yeah,
Venus has red hair, right?
Like, there's a lot of parallels there, and I get that.
Like pretty close.
However, if you're trying to truly make Mary Jane different than Venus and or better than Venus, you're getting super hyper specific. And the deck that it wants to be best in isn't fully fleshed out yet. Like I was playing a move end of turn deck and it was quite fun. It was, ran like a 60-ish% win rate, felt felt like a pretty good deck. It's the right idea. There are some tweaks I want to do to it, but she there had more benefit for me than it would have if I were playing Venus, because of just how that specific deck is built. But that's the thing. It's that specific deck. Every other deck is going to say that Venus is a better card. And I'm going to have to agree with that.
Yeah, and I think even in the context of like, I think the thing that we learned from Venus is a lot of decks have room for 1/3/3 that does synergistic stuff. But now there is Venus. And for a lot of the same reasons as I'd be surprised to see another card come out that's like, that's what Iron Patriot is, right? Like, because it has to compete with Iron Patriot, now everything else has to compete with Venus, right? Like now there's, like, if you're going to play a 3/3 do nothing that you're going to play for the synergy, and you kind of want to play both of them together, I don't know how many 3/3 do nothings you can afford.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I also don't think that Venus is a problem. So I don't think it is.
No, Venus is the best thing about this.
A great fragile ceiling raiser, because it can really raise a ceiling all by itself. But it is incredibly easy to lower that ceiling very quickly at the same time. So it's healthy.
Do you want to talk about Gambit? You want to talk about Gambit?
We have never had a 5-minute segment.
segment.
What is wrong with you?
All right, this guy, like, they tried to be nice to him. Can they? I don't honestly know that it'll take 5 minutes. They tried. I get it. And I think, people that say that they didn't nerf Gambit, I think they did nerf Gambit. I just think that they sort of effectively undid that nerf by making Mobius TOV not be a major part of the metagame anymore. When you take Mobius away from the metagame, it is a lot harder to justify playing a Mobius deck. And if you are going to not have Mobius, which is, in my opinion, the single best card at stopping Gambit spam in the entire game, if that guy's not going to be a big part of the metagame, then functionally this isn't a nerf, right? Like, the card got worse. The decks that play Gambit would be better right now if he was a 3/3 that blew up 4 costs worth of things. No arguments. But the fact that Mobius is now no longer part of the metagame in a meaningful way made this card way better. And I think they gave it its time. They tried to be nice. I don't think they should try to be nice anymore. Drop this guy by 2 power, at least.
I was totally on board with what you said until that final statement.
Interesting. What do you think?
I'll ask you this. Why do you hate Gambit? What is the specific thing that he makes, that he does,
I don't hate
that makes
Gambit.
you say this is unhealthy? What is the specific thing?
He provides a massive counterweight to any deck that wants to rely on cheap cards that increase their own power.
So how does lowering him 2 power fix that?
That is not some.
Yeah.
This is just me being a numbers guy. I just fundamentally believe that if you take numbers off of cards enough, it'll work. That's genuinely just what I believe. Like, if you want to say, 4/6 him, I'm with you. I was with you on that like 3 months ago, right? But like, I genuinely, and this might be like me being stupid, I just think taking 2 points of power off cards always matters. I just think it always matters. If you want to argue 1 wouldn't matter, I'll listen. I think 2 would matter. Like, I think I think 3 might kill him. And so it's like, I am never, even when I'm being harsh, gonna be quick to jump to like delete the text box.
Mr. KM Best.
Yes.
You do not want to take 2 points of power off of Gambit at all. Because the last thing I want to deal with ever is seeing a Bastion pick up a Gambit at 3/3 in my Cerebro deck enemy.
Oh, that was so brutal. Cause like as soon as you got halfway in and I was like, where's he going with this? And then you said because, and I was like, I know exactly where he's going with this. It's like you could see the moment halfway through when I realized where it was going. Yeah, no, I'm fundamentally just a believer that you can do whatever you want with Cerebro and it'll be fine. Like I sounded the alarm about Frigga Gambit and Cerebro back when that was happening. I was like, I'm scared of Cerebro 3. You know what happened? I was wrong. I was wrong as hell. I'm not gonna do it again. I don't care what you give Cerebro 3.
It never gets old though.
It won't matter.
But for real though,
yeah.
Gambit's destruction is the element of it that needs to be addressed, not his power. His power is probably the last thing I would address. His cost would be number 2. I'd put power third. The reason I would, sorry.
Sure. I mean, No, I think this is reasonable. I'm just a numbers truther. If you wanted to suggest something like destroy one card that has 3 or less cost on your opponent's side of the board, I'd be like, sure, that's a reasonable thing.
This is where I would need somebody to help me reduce the text a bit. But essentially what I would want it to do instead is not randomly destroy up to 3 total cost. I would have it sequentially destroy lowest cost cards on the board until it has reached the threshold of 3.
Until you hit 3?
Yes.
So you think the problematic card here is the randomness? Because I think that if it did that, you wouldn't actually
you would know what's going to get destroyed.
Yeah, but like you'd still be blowing it up, so who cares?
His cube rate
I'm still winning that game. Any game the Gambit would previously be winning, I'm still winning.
The cope stay, all of that, all of those numbers completely change whenever you remove randomness from a card.
Here's the thing. I would agree with you if I wasn't playing all my Gambits on turn 5 or turn 6. Sorry. Like, if this guy wasn't a guy, like, what would happen is I would play 3 Gambits on turn 6, just like I do now. And they would have stayed just like they do now. And then they do the same thing. And I'm a little bit suspicious of the idea that cube rate like does stuff, for the record.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it necessarily doesn't, but like we've seen with Red Hulk, we've seen that every time they try to do like, let's telegraph something as a way of meaningfully affecting cube rate, it just kind of doesn't, because Marvel Snap is fun and people like staying. And so I'm suspicious of that to begin with. But even outside of that, this card specifically, there's a lot of games where he's like, I'm playing 3 Gambits turn 5.
I think the 3 Gambits turn 5
nothing about that, and those are the ones that feel the worst.
Either way, I think it is something that, again, go back to cost. I think I'm still on the same train. 4/6 him. Current ability 4/6. I think he ends up being
4/6.
Almost justified that because, like I said, he's your Negasonic Teenage Warhead. He is your Juggernaut. He is your look. I'm truly investing into making this happen.
2 cards.
Yeah, no, never.
2 cards that famously don't ever need balance changes, of course.
And he's.
Yeah, no, I 4/6 does
it.
seem like the most elegant solution.
I'm
not opposed to it. Cerebros, let me know what that does for Cerebro 6. Let me know in the comments. I know you will.
Is there a way to? No, they better not be. Anyway, basically, yeah, I think we all agree he sucks. So the sooner he goes, the sooner we all kind of feel better about ourselves. I could kind of feel the same way about Aunt May. I just don't want to see her really ever anymore.
Interesting.
Cool, yeah.
I think she's kind of cool.
No.
I think she could be.
She takes a lot of naps. And
I'm not saying she is, but I think she could be.
Yeah.
Very important at that age. I think this is a bad metagame for her for exactly the reason we just discussed, which is you get mega farmed by Gambit. You're like, oh, let me play a bunch of cheap stuff that I buffed a bunch. It's just not what you want to be doing into Gambit. But I'm willing to extend her the benefit of the doubt and say, hey, look, maybe it's a metagame issue. Maybe it's fine. I also don't know exactly what they should do to buff her if she's not good. Like, what do you want her to do?
Give plus not at all.
3 power?
I just want her to
Isn't
be a
that
1/2.
Completely batshit?
I don't think
Ooh, that's also scary. Is it weird that I think she'd be better if she was a 2/4 than a 1/2?
The reason she's bad is not because of her. The reason she's bad is because of what she interacts with, right? When you see the line, card in your hand, -1 cost and +2 power, what's the first card that pops into your head? Mother Ascani. And Mother Ascani, he does this for a living, folks. Mother Ascani does that to anything. Anything. This is saying,
yes,
I can do the same thing. However, you got to get me down early. Then you also have to have another card that has a specific type of ability. Then you have to use that thing, make that ability happen, or put that ability onto a card to make that ability happen. And then if you have a card that has that ability in your hand, then, and only then, when that combo happens, I will then give you -1 cost and +2 power. That's why she sucks.
I have a proposal for Aunt May, which is not marry me, Marissa Tomei. It is actually, what if she had movable? I understand the flavor on that is horrendous. Like, I realize it is really bad, but
I still don't think that fixes anything. Honestly.
My instinct is that, like, I think she'd be pretty good. I think she'd be pretty good.
I'm not looking for deck.
Also,
I'm
nobody
looking
can
at
see
this.
the deck. You're in the wrong
movable
view, I think.
Cards that actually have the word movable in them. But yeah.
So there's a thing with Aunt May that's worth discussing, which is her targets are not the same as what procs her. She needs to hit a card that says movable and has the movable ability. Nocturne, Mercury, but you can proc her off of Madam Web giving something movable, or off of a web sling giving something movable, or off of a Hellion moving stuff, but she won't hit Hellion. And I think there is this confusion about this, right? Because they see the card and it says the word movable on it, and they're like, oh, well, surely it would buff that. It triggers it. And I do think there is something to be said for, like, maybe they shouldn't do it like that. But yes, movable ability means card that is movable under its own
group
power.
of 11 right here that I have on screen. This is what she can target.
She can hit Phoenix Force?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
I just assumed that Phoenix Force granted itself movable at some point during the resolution of the effect.
Wait, it can hit Phoenix Force.
That's crazy.
These 11 cards exclusively.
I would not have guessed. I would not have guessed.
Movable and are targets for the candy that Aunt May gives.
Meek? Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy, because he doesn't have movable in hand. That's fascinating. I would not have guessed
Meek that step further. That's remove wild. Meek. Whoops. Remove Phoenix Force. If you're playing movie-ish decks, it's these 9 cards. It's Spider-Man Brand New Day, Nightcrawler, Jeff the Baby Dolphin, Jeff the Baby Landshark, Rocket and Groot, Spider-Punk, Mercury, Nocturne, Vision. This is why Aunt May is a problem. Only Vision is the only big winner here. And the problem is, most of those cards that I just listed, you want to probably already have on the board down by turn 3, because turn 3 is very often when you're looking to play Aunt May. Not turn 2, turn 3, because you're trying to get the cards down that need to have the movable. Then you're playing Aunt May a little bit later on, turn 3-ish, when you do a movable thing and you're hitting something in your hand. A 2/7 Nocturne dropping down on turn 4 really is no different than a 3/5. Vision's the big winner here, and that's it. And that's a 4/11 that can move. And that's if you get the perfect keyword line. It's the targets of the candy are the problem for Aunt May.
I agree with that. I also think that wanting the movable triggers to fire is essentially asking you to trade the advantage of a movable deck for some extra points. And the big advantage a movable deck has is that its points aren't where they appear to be. And Aunt May requiring the usage of that move early reduces the utility of being a movable deck. And I don't think that's an accident. I think they were like, how do we make a card that makes people use movable cards a different way? Because right now they only really do one thing, and it's a very reasonable thing to be like, let's make a card that makes them do a second thing. And that's a good design thing for them to try to do. But I do think that the damage they take from that is meaningful. And I wonder if Aunt May, like, I don't think Spider Sense is the upcoming card that discounts for every movable card you play is that good. But if it cost 4, we might be looking at Aunt May in a new light in a few weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if there were other things pushing me to do this, I'd be interested. But as is, I don't think she's enough on her own. Because she is technically a different deck than a normal movable deck. Because a normal movable deck isn't using any of its moves. This is like, she's not using that, right? So she is kind of doing a different thing. And if you're doing her,
I don't know why
Sam
when
Wilson,
you said
Batroc,
that
Craven,
with the moves and the move, for some reason, it just sounded like move deck's afraid to use its moves. And the first thing that popped into my head was stoop kid's afraid to leave his stoop.
Yes. Yeah. Move deck's afraid to use its move. That's the title. That's it. You got it. It's better than the other one. Move deck's afraid to use its moves.
Oh, stoop kid, the good old. Anyway,
we locked it in.
But yeah, so Aunt May with this, the only thing that I feel like you do with Aunt May is you're trying to build a 3-card combo. You're building it as a really shitty package of Aunt May, Nocturne, and Vision. And you look at that deck and go, ugh. And that's the problem.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't even finish. We got distracted. I'm sorry.
Never.
I didn't finish what I was saying earlier, which is definitely not a common occurrence on this podcast at all. Would never happen. I did a really bad one earlier with the Trump thing. I started saying one thing, ended there, didn't get there anywhere. If you play her in the Batroc deck, she's worse than Craven. You'd rather be playing Craven, Sam Wilson, and Batroc than you would be playing Aunt May. She's like the 3rd or 4th card in that package. And so you never actually have time to get her down because you play the Sam, you play the Craven, and then you're like, oh, it's turn 3, it's turn 4. I want to be doing something on that turn 4. I don't want to be playing Aunt May. I want to be doing something. She doesn't even have the time. She doesn't have the time to be scaling the way you want. And that's the other thing that like makes
lower her
awful.
Cost, or just give us more movables. There are no others coming out this entire season.
That's actually insane. They should have just made like 4/8 movable. It's the card from the event. It's a 4/8 movable.
Okay.
Its name is 4/8
Activity
movable.
Time. So here's what we're gonna do.
Like,
I'm gonna go over here to the game, widescreen it. First off, secondly, before I go into that, I'm gonna have the shiny object moment. I don't have my tinfoil hat with me, but I'm gonna put on I'll put on the dev sunglasses for a second.
Put the sunglasses back. Yeah.
My theory is that Marvel Snap intentionally made a misspelling. Because the word movable does not have the letter E. But in Marvel Snap, it does. It's an ability. It's a specialty word for Marvel Snap. And I think I know why.
Is it related to?
So it shows up in the filter.
I believe this. I believe this.
This is coming from the same group of us, devs, the red square sunglass devs.
Us? Whoa, no, like I want to be super clear. What you're saying right now is not backed up to the best of my knowledge.
This is me talking on behalf of the entire red square sunglasses dev team of Third Dinner. That it was harder to remove the fuzzy filter for the words remove. So to make it easy for the movable ability, we're going to spell it wrong intentionally.
I have no idea if this is true, but I will wholeheartedly adopt this into my belief system because it is funny.
As I was saying, as me and no longer the dev guys, I need way more glasses for these bits. Is the solution?
Dude, I'm working on getting sponsored. Just give me a couple weeks. Hopefully I'll have a code.
I'm going to look more so at the top half here. Let me do a little small. Yeah. The top half of the move cards.
Just make it a little smaller. So our video viewers are slightly more.
I'll zoom in for your old man eyes. There you go.
Make it a little smaller. Do me a favor. Yeah.
For the ones that actually have move pertinence, not remove like Eliath and Enchantress here, but like move pertinence. Oh my god, I know.
Or like that's let's move like Cyclops.
I forgot about Cyclops. That's such a great one. That's such a great one.
You're talking about Cyclops. Let's move X-Men.
Which of these cards could have movable added to them that would provide value to the movable group / archetype?
Oh my god, Stegron. Imagine Stegron could move. Smack a guy, then move. Holy.
I would love to see Spider-Man 2099
that's a little
as a 5/5 movable. Absolutely.
Ugh, terrifying. I think Stegron's the best candidate here. That's awesome. That's awesome. It's dynamic. It's cool. Unfortunately, I don't think there's any flavor justification for it.
What if we made Captain Marvel movable? Think about it.
That seems
think it further.
Incredibly dumb. I've thought it through. I get it.
It doesn't hurt really the card because of what the card does. But so then why not?
Yeah, I understand.
If it's a target for Aunt May and it could become a 3/8 Captain Carter, yeah.
Okay, like I'm with you, but I don't think that's a good enough reason to do something that unintuitive. Like, I get it, but like that's such a ridiculous reason to do something like this that you're just like, all right, sure, man.
I think that's the solution here.
Yes.
Considering how she's surprisingly getting play because of all of this right now, recently, with all the Mary Jane stuff. It is a good
That is a gorgeous variant. I feel like I say that every time it comes up.
If I remember correctly in the game. Sidebarring. It's already just a bleh card that needs help. So I wouldn't mind having it be a card that gets targeted. Because imagine the line of Spider-Man Brand New Day on 1, Aunt May on 2, it hits Fan Fei. You can play Fan Fei as a 3/7 on 3. That's cool. I actually like that. And then it's movable.
That is cool.
That's cool.
I think that's the same dynamic that makes me think Stegron is cool, right? Where it's like, do thing, then move. Like, I think that kind of stuff is pretty sick. You know what's like a secret contender that I think would be amazing if it had movable? Prowler.
I could see it.
That's just sick.
Prowler having the ability to have a single move on him as a 3/4, just a general 3/4 movable because of his tools. I like that.
Yep. I think that would be cool as hell. But yeah, I think that one's a lot more flavor justifiable than Stegron. Stegron's pure gameplay, and I don't think you can do stuff like that. I'm very compelled.
Prowler's quite cool.
Prowler
I like that idea. I think there's definitely opportunity in some of these 3s and 4s, or maybe there's somewhere, there's a card buried in all of Marvel Snap that isn't a move card that deserves to be a move card in some capacity. Whoops, not Essen. Oh dear God, no.
Yeah, like Eson.
Galactus, movable Galactus, done.
Movable Galactus. The thing is, I think movable Galactus is kind of sick. Like it's horrendous, but like it actually would do weird interact. Like I would never accept it for any card other than Galactus, I think. But like I think Galactus is such a weird pile of text.
Maybe we just start putting movable.
Yeah, sure, whatever. He can do whatever. Who cares? Like, who would be a cool card to have movable? Is
just
Namor.
Give it to all of them. Just give it to Namor. Give it to Orca. Give it to Namora.
So they can leave? That's actually incredible. Give them the ability to leave. Give them the ability to leave your superhero team
about
up.
that life.
Oh my God. That's actually so good. This character can, here it is. They can move, but only when they're at the most populated lane.
They
can only leave. So whenever they're in the lane that you have the most characters,
so it's like
they can leave it.
Yeah, it's like an Akari situation where it's like it has to have the condition to get the big payoff. Yeah.
It can only leave if he's like, you're too close, man. You're too close. I don't love
White Tiger's a good target for movable.
I can't handle this.
Not the Tiger Spirits, just White Tiger. 5/1. Let the 1 move. What could it hurt? What could it hurt? Infinity Ultron. That's what fixes Infinity Ultron. What
could it help?
Right?
I mean, that actually kind of would help Infinity Ultron a lot. But yeah, I just think that like that guy, of all the things he needs, another line of text is probably not one of them. He's already got 7 lines of text. No, I get it, but like it's just like another thing to remember on a card that has 8 billion things to remember already. Just strikes me as like,
remember when we thought that was the case?
If Thanos movable, it'd be good, but like it's just like, okay,
yeah.
With the old stone, we were like, oh my God, it gives it movable. It'd be great because it was like Jeff text. Yeah, that would be sick. That would have been sick. I still think they should do it for the record, but maybe it's just kind of toxic to have that guy zooming around. Yes. Unfortunately, vision power creep in series.
I would take 4/7 Spider-Woman movable,
but yes,
with the afflict, right?
Oh my God, that'd be a
and it's a
card.
spider.
That'd be incredible. That'd be a really good card.
Totally
at every level. Yeah,
I would love to see that. Thank you. I'd love the Peach Momoka there.
Unbelievable variant.
That definitely works.
Gorgeous.
Wilson. Exactly. It's everything
that's what he needs. A buff.
I don't think there's really anyone else.
Dude. Yep.
Airship.
Nothing in the 6s needs movable, except Galactus, of course.
Because why the hell not? Yeah. Monstro. He swims. He's movable. He can swim.
Sure, man. Whatever.
Movable once or twice.
Sure.
Just screw it twice. Monstro moves twice.
Sold. Actually, I low-key movable once Monstro, a little bit busted. Movable twice Monstro is just like actively a good card, I think. I think that's just like actively like, I don't know, maybe a little much kind of card, to be honest.
But you got to get him down.
An 8 power move. Wow, that's some scary shit right there. I get it, but you probably will. Like that's something.
Only because we're down here in this breath. Can I now take the floor on a rant? Perfect.
Go nuts, dude. You literally always
can. We fucking fix Fin Fang Foom and have him always target the highest power of the 2 cards in the front row, because his ass is so broken after discovering that. He's so bad now. I proved it.
Wait, are you a truther that he always hits the weak one? I can tell you it's not true because
I have 10 games in a row evidence.
I can tell you it's not true, unfortunately. Yeah, you can flip a coin 10 times in a row and get heads.
It is enough for me to say, I don't believe you.
Unlikely, but it's possible. Okay, so you don't.
No, I believe in statistics. I don't believe in you.
That's what we're getting. Okay, all right. It's good that we've established that. No,
the words coming out of your mouth.
Right. Okay.
Are not what I am on.
Sold.
Agreement with.
Sold. Follow up. Assuming you're right about that, I still think it's the wrong thing to do. They should just make him a 15 power card. Fin Fang Foom's risk always comes from investing too much of his power in his on reveal, because that makes him incentivized to be a sort of wave, grandmaster, absorbing man kind of guy, right? The more power you put in that on reveal, the worse off the card is in terms of balance. I fundamentally think that less power should be in the on reveal and more power should be in his body. So make Fin Fang Foom a 7/15. It probably buffs him by about as much as you're saying, but it doesn't make him more of a problem when you duplicate him. That is my platform. I'm running for president on this platform.
I can deal with that.
I hope to win.
Anyway, so movable. That's actually who needs movable. Fin Fang Foomable. Anyway, new name for the podcast, Fin Fang Foomable.
So true.
How many names are we going to be testing? Anywho, I think Monstro wins. I think Monstro is the only missing card here in all of this that needs movable. But this,
sure. I like how you're like, yeah, Monstro wins. Like we have any cards in this deck that trigger him in any meaningful way. Like we're playing a deck of cards that cost 3 or less, and we're like, yeah, let's put Monstro in there.
100%.
Fine, and male carry.
It's I see no issues with this. This is exactly as it was intended to be.
Man. So true. So true.
But digressing. Ant-Man, crap.
Yep.
That's punchline. Just Spider-Man Brand New Day. Awesome. Recap.
Sure.
You have two decks.
Really good.
One move focused, one not move focused. Where are you throwing him most confidently? Okay, Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, let's try this again. Spider-Man Brand New Day. You have to choose a style of move deck as the move deck of all move decks that Spider-Man Brand New Day works best in. Heimdall move versus Hydra Stomper move versus Silky Smooth versus
No, Hydra Stomper. I just think Hydra Stomper move is like way better. Hydra Stomper, Bat Truck, whatever it is. I just think that's like, I think that is the most enduring and powerful version of move. And I think that largely because it doesn't have
it's not weird at all.
Weird predictability of a Heimdall deck. It has the ability to have varied turn 6s in ways that the other decks do not. So I would say Batroc, Sam Wilson, Craven, Hydra Stomper move. That is my confidence.
Now for decks that are not primarily moved focused, where is he going?
This card in the Captain Carter combo deck. If this just said movable twice, you'd play it over Nightcrawler.
I'd agree with that.
If it was just that, you'd play it over Nightcrawler.
Yeah.
It is also better than that.
This is how I put my barometer on that deck when I was testing it with this. I am not the best Captain Carter combo player at all. Nor am I the person that says I'm going to play the exact version. And I can say fairly confidently, when I'm able to successfully climb with a version that has Storm and 3 cards underneath the cost of Storm, Horseman of Famine, as a Captain Carter combo deck, and still run a 70% win rate, it is an incredibly good card / deck. It is incredibly good. And then I'm underselling myself.
I don't know if you're overselling or underselling yourself here, but 11 of those cards are the cards I'm playing. Like, you really only made one crazy choice in here, and you're allowed to because you can put pretty much whatever. I have a Mercury in that spot because I hate fun. You can play like Kraglin or whatever in the web-sling slot. Like, it doesn't really matter what you're doing there. You can play Galactus. Who cares? Galactus, Surfer.
No, I know.
Sure, man. There's a bunch of stuff you could do. Like, but like, it's all free. It's all free. So like, I think you're either underselling how like crazy you're overselling how crazy you were, or underselling how bad this is. Because it's just like, yeah, those are like the 11 cards that go in the deck, and then you have a free slot. That's pretty much how it goes.
Make a readjustment then on how maybe you might be hearing this. It is a Storm Horseman of Famine variation of the Captain Carter combo deck. And we've gone through this conversation of is it the Jeff version? Is it the Horseman version? No. And normally when you play the Storm version, you then have to make the call of, am I playing any cards underneath this? A lot of them don't run Grandmaster. They'll just play like just Agony or just Nightcrawler. And it's very limited, 1, maybe 2 cards. This has 4 cards underneath the cost of 3. Excuse me.
This, again, the only difference from what I'm playing is that you have 4 instead of the 3 that I have. That's the only difference. When I say I am playing 11 of these 12 cards, I mean literally, if you take Web Sling out and put in Mercury, you have the deck I'm playing. And you have the deck I've been playing for the last 6 weeks.
Yeah.
It hasn't always been Mercury. It's been
Namorita. I want to test Surfer back in here again.
But 11 of these cards
test Surfer back in here again,
the deck I've been playing.
Because I'm really curious to see what the ceiling is that I can, push this with Spider-Man now to add in that extra piece. At the same time, is it weird to feel like outside of the flavor piece of, I'm doing web sling, you're using Mercury, the 11th slot, I was regularly feeling like I keep questioning Grandmaster. Because sure, when you get the line of the brood into Grandmaster on your big turn, explosion, great. Sometimes you get the Grandmaster stick, and it's a great thing also. Occasionally the Ascani. Yeah, okay, I'll give you that one too. I forget about that one.
Like that's one of the things where it's like, if you're not playing the deck such that your Ascanis are always on the side lanes so you can Grandmaster.
I am doing that, but I think
that actually is a thing.
Part of the reason I like doing that less with this style of build is because there are so many so many cheap cards on here that make it more difficult to do that. Because very often the Mother Ascani line that line in particular works best when it's just Agony, Grandmaster, and those are your only 2 cards. Because it's very easy. You have them, and if you have them in that side of your hand, you're dropping them down early enough that you don't feel too bad about it anyway.
No, I think that, like I said, I obviously think Web Sling is wrong here, but the other 11 cards are right. And this is exactly like a still extremely good deck, even with like 1 card being off or whatever. Mm-hmm. I think that the things I see people miss with this deck are largely like future planning things, where it's like, where are you putting your Hope Summers on turn 3?
Right.
Because the answer is literally never the middle location unless something has happened, right?
Right.
When you have a Prodigy, are you playing your Agony too early? A lot of people play Agony on 2.
I hate that. No.
Why? Why do you play Agony on 2, right? Like, Agony is not just a card that you want to get on something specific. It's also a card that holds a space and then gets rid of that space. So what you can do with Agony, and this is also something you could do with Spider-Man, is put the 1 down, Prodigy a Mother Ascani for a second hit.
Yeah.
And then move it out, right? Like, Agony gives you that delay. Spider-Man gives you that delay. All of that kind of stuff is like where the equity in this deck is. Because I think everyone understands Big Maverick, activate Maverick, right? Like, everyone gets that. But there's like a bunch of like weird intricacies that are just like, you probably should do this.
Right.
And that kind of stuff is largely what I see people like, especially the like playing Agony on 2. There's almost never a good reason for that.
I agree.
I'm not saying it literally never happens, but it's way rarer than the amount of Agony on 2s that I see.
Yeah, if you have a mosh pit on the board, yeah, you drop it down on turn 2 to let it ramp up because you're going to drop your card or directly onto it. I get that 100%.
That's the other one, actually. People think your nut draw. The other one people miss is if you want a nut draw, if you have Captain Carter, Maverick, and Prodigy, your nut draw is Captain Carter in the second spot.
Yeah.
And like, that's one of those things, again, like people like play Carter on 3. It's like, well, don't do that. Don't do that. That shouldn't be your turn 3 play. Like almost all the time. If you do that, you're giving up on a lot of the combo potential of this deck. Mm-hmm. And, obviously there's contexts in which it's the right thing to do.
Of course.
Totally understand that.
Of course.
But it is something that I see a lot outside of those contexts and probably shouldn't.
A lot of the deck is very workflowy. A lot of the time. Where the first 2 turns, very low chance of wanting to play Agony. Go ahead and play Spider-Man Brand New Day or Nightcrawler down on turn 2. Turn 3, okay. Do you have Hope Summers? Yes or no? No? Okay. Do you have Storm Horseman of Famine? Yes or no? Okay. Do you have Captain Carter?
Other way around.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like you're creating a flow that way. You're creating a workflow. And
I can't tell you how many times in this deck I'll make a play and then be like, actually, I have this other play that is genuinely an order of magnitude more points that I just didn't see.
Mm.
Like,
I believe it.
It really requires you to, like, the number one question you should be asking yourself is, what am I doing with this?
Yeah.
Because it's really easy to be like, I'm going to Mother Ascani, I'm going to use my Grandmaster on a Mother Ascani, I'm going to Prodigy the Mother Ascani. What is it getting you? Mm-hmm. You have to work back from the end result on turn 6. What is it getting you? And I think it's really easy to just like, I'm doing something powerful. It's fine. You can't do that with this deck. You can't ad lib. You have to have a fully justified, I'm doing this for this reason. This is why this is happening. If something else it's a bunch of if then statements, right? And you absolutely need to have a good reason to do any of the things you do.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I still personally believe it is the best deck in the game. We didn't want to believe it for a long time just because we just don't want it to be the best deck in the game.
Well, I think it is the kind of deck that a Shadow King is really good against. It is also the kind of deck that is shockingly hard to play.
Yes.
But it's not just Shadow King that's good against this. The multiple man deck, which got really buffed with Web Sling, and more important than just getting better, it got way more popular. A Juggernaut Cosmo deck with that level of tempo is a very good deck into this one. And it's not like it has no bad matchups or anything like that. It has notable bad matchups out there. Like I don't think this is a deck that's like, if it were easier to play, it would be Star-Lord. But it's not, so it isn't. Mm-hmm. But even Star-Lord, like, really notable bad matchups. Supergiant crushed it. Like there were just like a lot of things in that vein. This would be a much more fragile deck than even that.
I'm gonna throw it out there that I think that there's a world where the next evolution of this deck is swapping Brood for Mr. Sinister, because there ends up being an even lower combo somewhere in there in the future.
I would describe that as unlikely, but if you told me that you wanted to play Mr. Sinister in 12th slot instead of Web Sling, I'd be like, I believe you.
Yeah.
Totally reasonable.
Yeah.
like I said, a lot of things you can play in that slot.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Sinister, honest to God, might even be the best one. There's a lot of compelling things to do there. I personally have the Mercury in there because I think kind of my only bad matchup that I'm really, really scared of is multiple man Juggernaut Cosmo stuff. That's scary.
Yeah.
Also, I cleverly withheld from discussing anything happening in the game during this, and the United States has won 2-0. Despite a red card in the 68th minute, after which another goal was scored. We have advanced to the round of 16, which is where presumably we will lose. But I would
Most
like
likely, yes.
I still remember 2014 World Cup, Tim Howard building a wall against Belgium. We lost 1-0 in the round of 16. I would like to see us do one better. I want that round of 8. And that one unfortunately does matter to me, which is a stone cold guarantee that we are going to get shellacked. But hopefully we won't.
Probably. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But that's
I don't know who we're set to play. I should actually check.
Anyway. I had something I needed to ask.
It's a World Cup
you.
podcast now.
Apparently. I'm trying to remember. I had a topic I wanted to like poke your brain on. I should have, I have a,
oh, we play Belgium. Wait, we play Belgium. That's who it was last time.
Dun, 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 dun.
Revenge game.
That definitely.
This is revenge for 2014.
Let's see what happens. Tune in next week where all we do is scream the entire podcast, yelling about whatever happened in either direction. Yep. It is what it is.
I've never been much for nationalism, right? But I got to tell you, I hate Belgium.
All of a sudden.
Yeah. I've never been in for it, but like, here we are. Anyone out there who also hates Belgium, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck your waffles. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
the name of the podcast.
Yep. That's we're getting demonetized. All right.
Just
what was it you wanted to poke my brain on?
Yeah.
What was it?
That's the worst part. So for the last several months, my normal, workflow and daily routine was while the kids were going to school, I would drive them to school. So I'd take them early in the morning. And that was my podcast time. That was my listen to content time. That was my also start to theory craft about the new cards time. So I'd be at a stoplight. My notes are right here on the dash. Just okay, combo, new card. Remember this synergy. Remember this pairing. Remember this. And then I'll go back later and I'll actually build a deck. And now that the kids are out of school, I haven't had that flow. So I have to actively remember, even if I'm just sitting here at the computer, to have my notepad open and just randomly write down a bunch of stuff nonstop to be like, hey, I want to ask you about this on the podcast, or I need to build this deck for my 3 decks of the week video, or I need I'm all thrown off because I lost this core little time that I would use consistently, because I don't know. Well, actually, no, I do know the way you plan content is, what am I doing today? So it's easy for you, but I'm always trying to think like the entire week ahead, so I don't have to think while I'm doing all of the other, I'm locked in on second dinner, or I'm in a phone call with a client.
ADHD, baby.
Yeah.
It's a superpower. If your superpower was being really lazy, that's what I've got, baby. I constantly put myself into situations where I have to improv because I enjoy it, and also because I don't know how to not do that. So there you go.
Oh, I got it. I'm going to take the
improv got you there.
Not really, no. But I had an idea. Because I want to pull back the curtain a little bit here. And I want to let people not that curtain. No. We don't need to pull back that curtain. No. I want to pull back the curtain a little bit and do something that we've never done before. Now, granted, there is a large threat that this entire idea and this segment will be cut, and I'll just have everything just go to an outro later. But we're preparing for the Spider-Man tournament showdown thingy, whatever, doom name pending, can't say anything about it officially, tournament. I've talked about it with Game On, things that I like, things that I don't like, rules, etc. the biggest commission at the end of one of our meetings was saying, okay, I need a base starter list, and then I'd like to pick your brain on it. And I know you and Gunny had a conversation talking about cards and this, that, the other, about what we want to do and what the goals of the event are.
I would say I was consulted.
Yeah. Yeah. Consulted just for like your, like, hey, if you saw this, what did you think?
Yep.
I want to take it a step further. I want to say, here's what I'm considering and why. And here are some of the changes I'm considering and why. And you have more tournament experience outside of Marvel Snap, of course, in a variety of other games. And I want to see that experience come forward when I explain what my goals are of it.
Super clear.
Mm-hmm.
I do not have vastly more tournament experience than you in other games. I am an online ladder grinder.
Mm-hmm.
And while I have plenty of opinions on this, they are not necessarily from a position of tournament participant. So I want to lay that down. If you want tournament participant, I can give you Jerry Thompson's number. He is a genius.
I'll put it this way. Have you played in one tournament before Marvel Snap?
Yes.
You have outdone my total. So with that said, I wasn't a heavy card gamer before this.
No, I know. Just like, okay, first of all, two things. One, it would be really funny if you cut, like when you were like, we're just going to cut to a transition and then end the podcast on the outro. It would be insanely funny if you cut that and then we immediately went to the outro. Like, we're just like, we might cut this for a transition. Cut, outro, no explanation. Really funny gag there. The second thing is, I hear you, but I just want to temper expectations here because I am far from a tournament design guy.
I get that. So I think that this creates an interesting perspective to talk about what I'm thinking and what Game On is thinking. And I heard their feedback. I've seen some of the comments that were made from the conversation that you had with Gunny when he asked you for your opinions on, hey, if you saw this, how did you feel? Here's what I'm thinking, because I specifically want to talk about one card. One card.
I know what card you want to talk about.
I don't know if you do.
Does his name
You're already wrong.
6 letters?
You said,
I'm already wrong. Okay.
You said his.
All right. Okay. I guess I don't know what card you want to talk about.
It is not Shadow King. No, I do not want to talk about that card.
I assumed it had to be Shadow King.
No. I want to talk about Magik.
I did pitch this.
Okay.
Because it was suggested to me that there was a desire for this tournament to feel meaningfully different.
Yes.
And one of the things that I think good players do pretty often is they look at Golden Gauntlet lists and they're like, look at these idiots bringing Magik. She sucks. What are these idiots doing?
Yeah.
And okay, on level 1, Magik is basically always bad. And there is a degree to which you can say something like that. Level 2, though, I think, to me, it demonstrates an incredible devotion to a style of gameplay that people seem to really love and has really resonated with people. I don't think people take Magik because they think she's hot. I think people take Magik because they have fun playing that turn 7. And They have fun playing different versions of Marvel Snap. And so what I pitched was, in order to create a sort of game mode type feel, something that felt different from normal Marvel Snap. And this is not something I pitched thinking about the balance implications. This is not something I pitched thinking about any of the stuff, because it's not my job to think about that. That is your job, not mine.
Mm-hmm.
The whole pitch was basically, people love Magik. What if we banned Legion and Scarlet Witch?
Right.
And what if we said, like, you probably leave around Nocturne or whatever because she's telegraphed. It's fine. But what if we banned the stuff that's rug pulling Magik? Would that actually do anything? Would people be more justified in taking their Magik decks?
Right.
I thought it was I still think actually it's a pretty compelling pitch, where if you start from the premise of the goal of upcoming TBD Spider tournament is we want it to be meaningfully different. We want this to not feel like just another tournament we want there to be some things going on.
Mm-hmm.
I think a great place to start is seeing something that the tournament going player base loves and saying, let's reward you for doing this. That was my thesis.
Right.
If you want something, I'm not saying that you have to do it, but if you want to take a swing,
right,
I think that is a good swing to take.
So,
and then my secondary pitch was that you should ban Shang-Chi just to save people from playing Shang-Chi, like just save them
yes.
from themselves a little bit.
Yeah,
that was my secondary pitch.
Yeah, and I can, it is in consideration, but speaking on specifically Magik, okay?
Sure.
When I heard that, I felt like you were making the argument and point for a different event by half-assing the solution to this event. So what I see within this is, if you're looking to make something meaningful and different, of course, obviously, we want the event to be different. I think the locations and the turn 7 element of it is really cool and really interesting. However, I feel that if you're going to make that be the theme, essentially, that becomes to me I want that to be a deck building requirement, that all decks must have Magik. Because now you're enabling the opposite style of, sure, if you want to play location control, sure, but you also already have a Magik, so you're making 2 sacrifices, or you're playing the game of, are you ever playing it at all on turn 5? It's now, do I, don't I? And it creates a different kind of push and pull versus it's turn 6, will I have a turn 7? So yeah, that's how I was looking at it. Though? Yeah, of course.
Can I be candid though? Like I don't like deck building restrictions at all.
I know.
I like even less a deck building requirement. Like yeah. I don't like tournaments that ban cards, because I think that a lot of the time cards that get banned because they suck or whatever. Yeah. And it's like, okay, fundamentally deal with it, right? And I get that's like a pretty non-sympathetic attitude to have, but it is the attitude I have towards competition.
Yeah.
And I think that like these things can be negotiated, but I especially think it's a questionable look for Second Dinner to be like, we're banning these cards in our tournament. Like, okay, then why do they exist? Right? Like it's one of those things where it's like, I don't really understand the utility of that. Okay. Right? Like it doesn't make sense to me.
I'm gonna pin that and come back to that element of it though. Because
you don't have to address that. I think it's like sort of understood that like this is an attempt at doing something different, and like that's fine. But it does sort of like, it's like I just wouldn't do it, right? And so for me, this was like, I need to get out of my comfort zone. I need to suggest a swing. That's what I was trying to do. And I think that just making the Magik players feel safer will get people thinking about doing more stuff with Magik. Because if all you do with this ban list is ban a bunch of tech, that's one thing. But if what you do with this ban list is enable people to play, I think arguably the most game-changing card in the entire game of Marvel Snap, that's a different one. But I care way more about enabling them to do it than requiring them to do it. I think if you require the Magik, you cut down on the amount of people. My view is basically that a lot of people in Marvel Snap have decks they want to play. And metagame shifts can dictate how profitable it is to do that, but they are rarely going to make it impossible to play a deck in a literal sense. A requirement to play Magik will make many decks impossible to play. And I think that would not be worth what you are proposing.
Right. And I'm not saying for the event, it was something that we considered. What I'm saying is, if you wanted to allow the floodgate to open, I feel like that would be its own event. Like, this is coming from the guy who did an Agatha event 3 years ago as a tournament.
Sure.
It was maybe a little memey, it was fun,
event, but like, I don't know. I just want to
be a
lean
fun
on
spinoff,
it a bit,
but
you know,
I
want to just like, I just want to like, see what nudges I can give. Right. I want to make it not, I want a golden gauntlet where 100 people register Magik and I don't have my entire server being like, look at these idiots. Like, that's what I want.
Well,
I want it to be a justifiable decision.
Here's my counterpoint to that conversation of Scarlet Witch and Legion being banned. My counterpoint is, if you do that, you have to go all in. You have to say,
why?
Location control needs to be fully removed. You need to ban Merlin. You need to ban Nocturne. You need to ban, and then the list grows and grows and grows. The other end of that is you kill two birds with one stone by going the complete opposite direction and banning Magik. Because what you end up doing then is you not just remove that restriction, you remove the need to have it in case if the field has Magik restriction
I just think
concern.
You're misunderstanding why I want to do it, right?
I understand why you want to do it. Yeah,
these things are not equal to me. I want people to play Magik and I want it to be good. So banning Magik doesn't make me feel any type of way about it. Like, that makes me feel bad. That's not the goal.
Right. The goal would be to have a streamlined list. The less cards that give the biggest punches, the least amount of cards that give the biggest swings and punches. Those are part of the goals of what I'm looking at with this design. And if I have to choose between banning Nocturne, Snowguard, Legion, Merlin, Scarlet Witch on a list, I feel like I'm probably missing one more. Storm. 6. All location changers.
Leave Storm. I would leave Storm. It's fine.
Every single location changer gone. Or just Magik.
Right, but it's like, you made that proposal. I didn't make that proposal. I said Scarlet Witch and Legion, the two most common ones.
But what I think ends up happening,
like, I think
they're the most common because they are the top options. But if you remove those options, the other options go up instead.
No, I don't think that's going to happen. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think people are going to be playing Storm to remove locations. I don't think that's going to happen.
I see Merlin going through the roof. Absolutely. I see Nocturne even going up.
Nocturne will go up just by the virtue of what this tournament is. But no, I think, first of all, Nocturne, the one who doesn't rug pull, to be clear. Mm-hmm. Nocturne's the fair one. If you're a Magic player and you have to see location changers, Nocturne and Snowguard are the ones you want to see. Like, those are the ones you can beat. The second thing is, I don't really believe that these things are one-to-one replacements. I think it's actually pretty hard to get Merlin into your deck. You have to like be doing some pretty specific things. I agree that typically you may, let's say you ban Scarlet Witch and you ban Legion, you will see an uptick in the other location changers, but it will not be equal to the amount that was removed. You will have swung the pendulum in favor of Magik. There will be less location changes in the field. This is assuming, of course, that like a bunch of spikes don't get together and they're like, I'll play every location changer because everyone's going to take a Magik deck, which is possible. But I do think that, like, if you wanted to hit Merlin additional to what I said, I wouldn't argue. But I think throwing things like Storm in that bucket. I think throwing things like Nocturne in that bucket. I think throwing things like Snowguard in that bucket. That's not even really in the spirit of what I'm proposing. What I'm saying is take away the easy ones and make people work for it. And if you want to say Merlin's one of the easy ones, I'll listen. I don't think the other three are.
I'm not saying.
And so to me, it's a question of. To me, it's a question of Scarlet Witch, Legion, Merlin. I'll give you Merlin, but to me, that's what I'm fundamentally proposing. I'm not going to say you can't interact with Limbo. I don't think it's right to ever have a thing where it's like you can't interact with Limbo. You can interact with Limbo. Pay a price. Pay a higher price. I'm working with incentives here. Right. I'm not working with mandates. I'm working to incentivize certain behaviors. And maybe there's second order stuff, right? Like we talked about the possibility that people are like, I'm packing all of this because I expect 40% of the field to be Magic, so I'm going to rug pull them and the Magic players don't even have a good time in their own Magic tournament. Definitely a real risk of a second order effect being bad. Open to that conversation.
Yeah.
But I don't think that necessitates that I'm half-assing it. I think at least that I'm correctly assessing the situation and saying the replacements are way worse and you will not see the same volume. That's really all I'm going at here.
Yeah, no, I fully understand your approach, which is take the highest effectors, remove them from the equation to allow the ceiling to rise, but the amount of one-to-one replacement with those other options for the removal of those three will be less than the amount of people who might choose to go all in on the 7-turn combo.
Yep.
Right. No, I understand that.
Just marginal win. Like I'm doing economics, right?
Yeah.
Give me the marginal.
Right.
I'm operating at the margins. That's what I'm doing.
And I'm curious to hear, for those who make it this far into the episode and they hear this conversation, I'm curious to see how people react to it, especially from the competitive community, where I'm coming from the perspective, and to be clear, no decisions have been made, nor will be made by the end of this podcast. I wanted to have
none of them are made by me. I want to be super clear.
So basically, it's never his fault.
Me, you can't never get mad at me.
Yeah. Never his fault.
I'm not making any decisions.
But I think it's cool to kind of also pull a little bit of the curtain back to discuss how we look at certain things and why we make certain decisions the way that we do on certain events, because it also is a little bit of a pullback to maybe some other decisions that you might be questioning that happen from within the game itself, not just, us that are putting on a tournament, but questions that happen within Second Dinner, or why is this event happening like this, or whatever. Sometimes it's kind of cool to look behind the curtain a little bit. And I wanted to have that conversation here and just get some of that aired out, because it would be a conversation I would have wanted to have with you either way, to get your opinion on that specific card as something that we are considering and trying to figure out what is the plus minus of do we go all in on either direction, or how far is enough if we go through further direction. Like, that's the cool thing about it that I wanted to really navigate with, because I wasn't sure.
Yeah, my instinct is here's the other thing. I think that if Magik is less of a thing that people are beating the crap out of, you get a lot more willingness to play a card like Scorpion Brand New Day. That was the other part of the pitch.
That's fair.
That's a big 6 that wants to be copied.
Yep.
That's a really cool thing to do. And it does strike me as like, green living tribunal. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of the vibe of the card. And I could be wrong. We don't know. But like, that's the vibe check I have right now. And removing pressure on Magik means you can do way cooler stuff with that card.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I just think that, like, when you're looking for like a big swing, something that will fundamentally alter how people approach deck building,
ban Mantis.
There are some obvious hits, right? There are some obvious hits for like, here's a really good deck.
No, that was me telling you stop with the obvious hits, because there's only one obvious hit, and that's it. There's one obvious hit.
I think
there's one obvious hit that we will confirm right here on this podcast, and will absolutely be a part of the ban list while everything else is still up in negotiation.
Yeah.
And that is Arishem.
Oh, okay. Sure.
100%.
That wasn't the guy I was thinking of, but I think
so you wanted to talk about Shadow King. I see how it is. All right.
No, that also isn't the guy I'm thinking of right now. Different guy. I think there's one really obvious hit that's just like the freest change in the world for like, oh, this will be fun, right? I basically think that if you just play whack-a-mole with the top decks, that's not going to create something meaningfully distinct. But if you specifically try to curate changes such that worse strategies get better, that is going to create something much more meaningfully distinct. And the only way I could think to do that was with Magik, right? Like, this was a difficult thing for me to arrive at. I didn't just like rock up to the conversation. I spent like 30 minutes like doing stuff, trying to figure this out, right?
Yeah.
And I think that it's something the community wants from Marvel Snap more is to make bad things good. And I think that if you as a tournament organizer are in a position to deliver on something like that, it's really cool. And this is one way you can do it without actually having access to an OTA system to literally change the cards. Like, obviously, it'd be sick as hell is if you got like an imbalance patch OTA in for the tournament. That would be super cool. That would be like, hey, we're just going to like have a really fun one, right? That would be awesome. That'd be a great time to run a tournament. That's not happening. So what can we do that's like that?
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I got to the Magic thing from, where it was just like, that is a thing that would meaningfully make worse decks better without necessarily making them busted or increasing the mandates on this stuff. And it would be with a card that people love and people would be like, remember the Magic tournament? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that kind of stuff. Like, that's where I see the utility of this for me. Because I think if you just play whack-a-mole with the top decks, what happens is the 5th best deck wins. You know?
Yeah, that's fair.
Like what they do in Grand Arena? They played whack-a-mole with the top decks. They nerfed the 3 best deck. What was the best deck afterwards? Oh, it was the deck that was 4th. Crazy. Like,
I mean, the 2nd best deck became the best deck.
Sure. You're talking about the Doom deck? Yeah. I don't have any numbers across that, but I'd believe you. But like, yeah, it was like, oh, they nerfed all these decks. It was the top 4 decks were like, I don't know. What was it? I'm trying to remember the chart. The guy at Snap Complete, I asked him to make a chart to see the impact of the OTA on Grand Arena. And like what got better, what got worse, and by how much. And generally the worst decks got better and the better decks got worse. But the one exception was Thor.
Yeah.
No changes, but everything better than it got worse. And so it's just like, oh, damn, okay.
It just...
Yep. And that's sort of what it feels like will happen if you just like, if you like, hypothetical, you whack-a-mole Carter, Maverick, Gambit, V-Hand, you whack-a-mole those decks, right? Something kind of like that's going to be like the 5th best thing at doing that is just going to be what's left, right?
Yeah.
And my instinct is that you should do something that's a bigger swing than playing whack-a-mole with those decks. Not that it's necessarily wrong to play whack-a-mole with those decks or whatever. Just that you have the opportunity to be like, yo, check it out. Also, as usual, phenomenal Magic split.
It's, I think, my only gold with Rainbow Crackle.
I got a gold with Rainbow Crackle like literally 3 days ago, and I'm forgetting what card I got it on.
Airship.
It wasn't Airship. It definitely wasn't Airship. Oh, no, sorry. It was a Shadow King inked Rainbow Crackle. My bad. I mixed it up.
That's pretty damn cool, though. Not gonna lie.
Pretty sick.
That's pretty damn cool.
It was a deeply evil. It happened right after I had a game where I played 3 Shadow Kings against a zombie Galacti gamer. It's just like, all right, man. This is horrendous.
Well, that's just rude.
It's so rude.
It's so bad.
But yeah, I just think that like it's probably a swing worth taking. The worst case scenario is a bunch of people bring stuff that beats Magic and gatekeep the Magic players anyway, in which case their deck was already 40%. We know this from the last time we ran one of these events. Magic's just like chilling with a 40% win rate every time we do it. So what? It's going to get worse? Like, what? Come on.
Let's incentivize the community to play worse. Good job, KM.
What are we going to do? We're going to drop our win rate to 35%. It's going to be fine. Like, I understand that 2nd and 3rd order effects matter, but like I would still hope that it does raise her win rate.
One would think so, but we'll leave it up to the community to comment down below, and I'm curious to see what they say. Do they want to see more of this or less of this? Because depending on how you interpret that statement, it also depends on how you comment.
How do you interpret that statement, commenters? How do you interpret it?
I feel like I'm going to have to publish a lot of held comments.